So hello everyone, welcome to the live, and today we're going to be looking at some futures, mostly Bitcoin. We're going to be analysing the market, seeing what's what, and potentially getting some nice trades in. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you guys and let's get into it. So we are currently on Everdex. That is a platform I use. Very nice platform, very easy to understand, and if you guys want to trade alongside with me, then the link is in the description below, so check it out if you're wanting to do that. So let's have a look on where we're at. If you guys want to trade along. Right, so first we're going to do a bit of analysis, see where we can get some trades on. So yeah, let's see if we have a, to me it already looks like there's a downtrend happening, and if we were to zoom in, that's kind of the same indication that we're getting from the 15-minute time frame. So it does appear that it's had some trouble breaking through this level here. So it's nearly touched it, but it's just not had enough momentum to go through. So if this, we could expect the market to, as you see, go down, it comes back up, and then realistically we could expect another peak around this area here. But it would obviously have to go bearish first for that peak to appear here, and that would obviously give us that nice downtrend movement. So that would look something like, let me just, where's the magnet, there we go. So it would look something like this. So we could expect the next peak to be around this area. And if we were to look in the 1 minute time frame, that is what is currently happening. So realistically we could place an order for a take profit of around 73.88. 73.088. And we could set the stop loss at about 73.950. Let's go 900. 73.900. $73,900. Or we could go a little bit lower. Let's go 850. There we go. So those are our stop loss and take profit levels marked out. So we have a stop loss up here, and our take profit would be around this area, as we're expecting the downtrend to continue, and that's roughly where the next peak could potentially form. Hello. So as you see, that's kind of what's forming right now. We're on a downtrend. So let's keep an eye out on what the market does. So it seems there's a little peak forming at this area, but we are still, there's a pretty clear indication that the downtrend is going, and in the higher time frames it's also pretty visible, as you can see. So these past couple of lives have mostly been trading from the uptrends and downtrends, and then later on we'll obviously look into different ways of entering the market, what to look for, some like indicators and just things like that. So this does look like a very nice trend. You see it's forming very nicely. Has broken through that level a little bit. But if we were to look on a higher time frame, you see the downtrend is pretty visible. So if we were to go from the top of that candle, we can see a few, this candle does touch that level, so the level is there. And maybe have a few more candles touching this one, as you can see here. So it seems the market does have a little bit of resistance currently. There is a bit of trouble with getting that price down. A bit of a sideways moving pattern, and that's what you'd call a, what's the word, it fell out of my head, I've just had it. It's completely gone. Sometimes it gets like that. So what's happening currently here is kind of like a movement we've got around here. Not much movement, mostly sideways moving, and then the price does continue as it does. And then here we could kind of expect the same thing. As you see, it is on that downtrend, and this peak is obviously not higher, than this one. So this could ideally be that second wave of the downtrend. So what we're currently expecting is that continuation, and it for maybe to spike a little bit up back here again, and then still continue with that bearish downtrend. So let's just keep an eye on the market and see what happens. So as you guys can see, that price was accumulating in a zone right here, and now there's a stronger move down. So it kind of like generates all that, like, what's the word? Generates a price, and then it either continues with that downtrend, or if it's strong enough, it would obviously go on for longer and then potentially break levels and go for a bullish move. So at this level that I have the take profit as, this is a level that I believe was, yeah, so it was a level, so around here, 72,000, so around 72,888 is where, as you see, price came down and didn't quite break through this level here. This is a level where the price obviously started to go for a bullish move, and this would be an area where the price could have a little bit of struggle to get through. So if it does get through that level, then the next one would probably be around here. So roughly we're speaking around here. So as you see, the price is getting closer and closer to our take profit, which is very, very nice to see. So realistically, like I said before, what we can currently expect is the price can, if it were to break through this level, obviously, a continuation of the downtrend. So realistically, if it does break through that level, we can then take a larger take profit and put it to about this level here, just above it to be safe. So you see, it didn't quite touch it, which could suggest that we may not break through it. But as you see, the downtrend is pretty strong, and it can be seen in the bigger time frames as well, as you can see. So we have a peak at the top, and this is our next low peak, and then we can expect the next low peak to be around this area here. But then you can obviously still break through this level that we have right here. So it's kind of like a crosshatch puzzle or something. So yeah, we currently expect maybe a peak around this area here, and then a continuation of that downtrend. We may have some trouble, as I said, getting through that level like we had, but if it does break through that level, then the next level to look out for would be this one here. So as you can see, that continuation is still on its way. Doesn't seem to be a lot of resistance. There is a little bit of resistance, but that is obviously to get those peaks, as we can obviously see in the downtrend. So we've got one here. So right now we could be expecting a peak around this area here, and the momentum is pretty strong by the looks of it. So we could see this level here being broken, and if we do go past this level here, then it could be kind of like an indication that we might get that move, that continuation through the level and it continues to go through the next one. So as you can see, the short positions do outweigh the long positions by quite a lot. So there is very, I would say extremely strong, but I will say that there is a strong signal that we are going to get that push through that level. And the short positions are outweighing the long positions by quite a big difference. So what we can expect now is a peak around here somewhere. So it could realistically go to around here, just before our stop loss. Or we could even see a small one around here, and that continuation would carry on. So as you see, these three indicators are showing that strength in the bearish trend. So the momentum is still there, the strength is still there, and we're currently still obviously expecting that bearish movement. So it does seem the market has slowed down a bit, and we may be getting some resistance there. if you look on the higher time frames, say currently on 15 minutes, then you can see that doesn't look like 15 minutes to me, but there we go, that looks better. So as you can see, that downtrend is still continuing. So it looks pretty strong. So what we could expect is this price to dip below this bottom here and potentially come back up to create that third peak. And if we do see a strong movement in the market, then we could expect to break this level here, and that would be from this low of the price. And then if that does happen, then realistically here would be the next level to look out for. So let's go back to the 1 minute time frame and have a little watch on what happens. So you see there's a little bit of trouble here, there's a bit of resistance, and then that continuation has carried on. So now what we could see here would be obviously that peak around this area, like I said before. Some goofy songs. So currently we're not too worried at all, as we are expecting the next peak in this area. You see the momentum has slowed down of this orange indicator. You see the little curve here. So what we'd expect now is a peak around this area here, and then a continuation of the downtrend. So let's just keep an eye on that. So I've put the stop loss back up because we don't want to be getting stopped out around here where the peak could potentially come up to, and then we would obviously have that continuation of the downtrend, and that would not be good. So I've moved that stop loss right back up to roughly where it was. So now we're just expecting it around here. So we'll come up to here, maybe even touch that level, and then continue with that downtrend. Because it doesn't look like it's going to have the momentum to obviously push through the level and, you know, carry on heading bullish. So that resistance level is obviously going to not prevent it from, you know, going through. So it'll either touch it, go through, or just come near it and continue on that bearish trend. So let's have a look how that plays out. And obviously that would confirm that the downtrend is there. As you can see, we've already got 2 peaks here. So this is the top of the peak. Now we have the next peak, and potentially what we can see here now would be that 3rd peak. And then a continuation going forward. So it looks like it is coming back down, and now we expect that bearish downtrend to continue. What are we in Cyberpunk? Yeah, that will do. I thought I turned it off, but somehow it still wants to carry on making me freeze. So it does seem like it's having a little bit of resistance there from the long positions. What are we looking like on the bigger time frames? So as for the longer time frames, they're still suggesting that the downwards movement is still there. The bearish downtrend is still as it stands. So as I said, price may have some struggle getting through this level, but from this downtrend perspective, it does seem like we're going to see that continuation and a move through that level. And there we go, it's picked up its speed again. And the price is going bearish. It had a bit of trouble, was a bit of resistance there, and then it's obviously got that momentum again. And now the short positions are obviously overpowering the long positions in the market. Not currently sure on what's happening here, but as you can see, the indicators are suggesting that there is a weakness in that bearish movement. So realistically, we could see a candle form in this kind of range here. And that would obviously show up nicely in a, let's say, 30-minute time frame or a 15-minute time frame. And that would obviously give us that third peak. As you can see. Or we could expect a peak around this level here, which is, I'd say, more likely. So we'd get another candle here for a red one next to this longer one here, and then we could expect that next candle to maybe pop out of this resistance level here and then continue if we have enough momentum. So here it currently looks like a little mini downtrend.
Make you paralyzed.
So it seems that candle hasn't obviously gone higher than the previous one. Yep, there we go. So a lot of longer positions are coming into the market right now. We could see that peak forming, like I said before. So it could be obviously be higher than this one here. Or it can obviously, continue with that downtrend. So we'll have to see what happens, how this plays out. So this is what I was suggesting earlier about the peak, so the last peak. So the first peak right at the top, which is here, the second peak, and then finally the third peak, which I believe would now be forming around this level here. So it would either touch that level or slightly go through it, and then we'd obviously expect that continuation of that downtrend. So in the 1 minute time frame, you can see this previous candle slightly just didn't touch it, but we could expect the next one to either touch it or go through, and then that continuation would happen shortly after. So as of right now, we're not too worried. But as you see, the price hasn't gone above this previous candle tail, so it could just remain where it is. As you can see, didn't touch it. Sounds like we're in a horror movie. So what we'd need right now in the 5 minute time frame would be for that candle to form around this area, and that would kind of show us that third peak for the downtrend, and then we could obviously expect that continuation of the bearish move, sorry, up to this level. Could have a bit of trouble getting through it, like I said before. Not too sure on how long we've got left on that level, on that candle, I mean. But it does appear that that is where it's going to be at. And now we could be seeing that continuation for that downtrend. So as you see in the 5 minute time frame, that is exactly what's happened, and that could obviously show up as our third and final peak, unless this next candle does come a little bit above it, so just below our entry price, and then that continuation would still obviously be expected. And if we were to look from a larger time frame, we would see that obviously these levels are still pretty strong, this resistance level, and as for the support level, I'd say it's equally as strong. And obviously when you look closer, you would see that more candles do end up touching those levels. see there is a bit of consolidation here. That's the word for a side moving kind of structure, I'd say. Couldn't get my words out earlier. So it's like a sideways movement where the price doesn't move obviously up and down too much. It's more like a sideways move. And if we look at a 5 minute time frame, this is where obviously price could now begin to continue with that downtrend. And as for a 15 minute window, that is kind of the same thing. So ideally we would need this candle to form in this 5 minute window where it's currently at, or even come slightly up above here. So the last candle would end approximately around this area here, and then we'd see that continuation. That would obviously give us a nice structural perspective of where the price could be headed, because now it seems to be just kind of hovering on that resistance level, trying to break through. So as you see, the price kind of staying in that same area, but it does. I'm not going to speak too soon. But you see that wick is pretty large. So we're going to just have to wait and see. So these three candles have broken through our resistance level, but it looks to me as a false break. This was a much bigger false break, and we have about 10 seconds left on that candle. So it currently just looks like the price is getting pushed into that level and kind of like through it. It's an interesting structure. So realistically, we could now expect it to even go just below our entry price, or it can continue that move downwards. What I'm not expecting is obviously a bullish scenario where the price does have a rejection and changes direction. Sounds like we're wrapping, but there's been a much stronger candle forming as of right now. So we've got 9 seconds left on it. kind of a strange formation we're currently seeing. So as you see, there's multiple candles. I think there's about 10 plus candles in here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's the 10th candle forming now. And they're all kind of in that same price range as you see. So from about 73.4 to about 73.7. And this could be obviously a part where the price accumulates and does generate that power and momentum to continue with that downtrend. Or we could obviously have a much more sour scenario where the price does make a reversal and continue on a bullish scenario. So you see here, there is a kind of like a reversal in the indicators. So that shows obviously the momentum is kind of slowed. That's why we've had this, up and down move, and not much of, anything going on. But this could obviously be that peak. It's much more consolidated and longer peak, but overall, a peak is a peak. And judging by the last 4 candles, it's more of a likely scenario that the bearish movement will continue and that reversal isn't there. So what we'd currently be looking for is for these indicators to round off, suggesting that continuation in that bearish move, and that would obviously give us like a larger peak, I'd say. So in a 15-minute time frame, that is kinda what is being currently shown. So as you can see, this looks kind of like that peak that's currently being generated. So obviously, as I said before, we're not too worried as we are, as we were expecting a peak around this area, so just below, our entry price. So currently, we're not obviously too worried about that. So as you see, in the previous peak, the price did move quite above that resistance level, and that is kind of same scenario what's currently happening. But as you know, it can obviously still come back down, and it wouldn't be a much more of a spike. It would be much more of like a rounded kind of peak in that instance. So not too sure what we're currently seeing, but so this would be like an area roughly around now where we would expect that price to obviously peak through, and then we'd see that continuation of the downtrend. So you can see in the previous one we also had 3 of those bullish candles before we had another move for a bearish scenario. So this could ideally be that 3rd peak of this trend, and what we'd currently expect is that continuation after this candle has formed. And let's just have a look if we have some kind of indication of when that candle will obviously fully form. But as you see, the price hasn't moved up too much, but here it moved up quite significantly. But then here it's not got that move. So I feel like it's trying and it's trying, but it just doesn't have enough momentum. So that could realistically signal a pretty strong move for that bearish trend continuation. So you see this peak has kind of like started on its curve downwards, which would obviously suggest that this area was that 3rd and final peak, but that would obviously come into effect when the market would come roughly around a 73,250-ish level. So I mean, that's what I'm currently expecting to happen. it's a good thing we just exit that trade, because most likely we would have been stopped out. So, if we were to look level-wise, then could this be what we're seeing? It's kind of losing its momentum right now. So to me, that could actually indicate that third peak, that third and more clear peak, I'd say. Obviously I could be wrong as well, so, but if we do get a reversal right about now, then that could obviously prove me right. I mean, that does look like more of a trend than, you know, that previous one did, so that is currently how it's looking. So as you see, this one perfectly touches that line. That's if we were to go from that peak. And maybe not quite perfectly, but it does touch it. So to me, that kind of just looks like a third peak. Our take profit was marked at 73,000, and that's previously where the price was at. What the hell is this? Not looking too good, but it does seem that candle is perfectly matched the points movement regarding that other one. So based on this right now, could indicate a false break. How long have we got left for that candle formation? To about 5 seconds. So it does look like a false break to me, as you guys can see. What we would love to see right now would be that continuation. So as now we have that third and final peak from what it looks like, we would obviously like to see that continuation of the downtrend. But it seems there's a little bit of trouble. But I mean, here is kind of the same thing. Market moved up, and then here again, near the level. It's looking a bit sus. But as seen in the 5-minute chart, it doesn't look too bad. And then as for the 15, not too bad either. It just looks like a false break. But of course, that could, not be the case. And we'd see that price continuing for a bullish move. Not looking good. That's all I'm gonna say. So currently there is kind of like no clear structure of what's going on. So we're gonna chill out for a little bit and see how the price reacts, where it's gonna go, what it wants to do. And in the meantime, we can take a look at some other futures. Bit of a strange movement, not gonna lie. It's like a downtrend, but then at the same time it's a bit of a silly one. Like Ethereum wise, it just and then for Bitcoin, I mean, in the 1 hour time frame, it kind of does look like it's yeah, I mean, it appears that it has broken through. And if it does break through this level here, we could realistically still be on a bullish move. So as you saw just now, it didn't obviously have enough momentum to break through that level, and the price is now on a reversal. So realistically, we could still be expecting that downtrend. So obviously, this peak is still lower than this previous high of obviously this peak. So the possibility for a downtrend is still there, because this is obviously where the price went up to. And if it does continue for that bearish move and hit 73k, that would be absolutely fantastic. Doesn't quite seem like it's there's quite a lot of resistance for that price to be going bearish, so So I feel like the price now is kind of trying to get the momentum back, but judging by the amount of short positions, it just can't get that momentum back unless there's a big player involved. We could now realistically see that reversal, as it obviously hasn't gone through that level, and it's not even like touched it. It's come close to it, but it's looking to be a reversal. Looks that way on the large time frames as well, and that would be very, very nice to see. So, if we were to go in a larger time frame, for example 5 minutes, 5 minutes does tell us that there is a reversal. Obviously it may not be, anything could still happen. As you can see here, there's a rise in the price, larger candle, but then the price still continues for a bullish move. But it does seem the momentum is kind of, faded, and that is crazy to see. Crazy to see. So guys, not so successful, but we learn. So that'll be it for today's live stream. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.